All right, y'all, I have some more to go off of another video that I made, but I'll just get into it. So I made a video about 2 weeks ago called The Name of the Star is Wormwood, and what I had done was I was like, I'll just tell this part and then I'll link the other videos that go with it in the description, which I did, and God kept telling me just redo the whole thing and add it all in there. Just say the whole thing all over again. But I did not want to, just for the time's sake, I just didn't want to do the whole thing repeating something I had already said. And so it was really laid on me last night after I had got some additional things to go with that to just redo this video. So I'm gonna title this The Name of the Star is Wormwood Take 2, because this is gonna include everything from the links that, you know, I don't know how many people watch that and then go back and try to find the links. So God was really like, just give it all now, because at least when you give this message, everyone who watches it will get the full rundown of what's going on up to the most current visions. So about 5 months ago, I got one verse. So this was at the very beginning when I was still trying to understand what God was doing. And it was Isaiah 8, verse 12, and it says, "Do not call conspiracy everything this people calls a conspiracy. Do not fear what they fear, and do not dread it." And then 4 months ago, I did a video called Desolate Wasteland, and I'm not going to link that one in here, so if you do want to watch the original one, you can look in the video list and find the one Desolate Wasteland, but I'm going to say it here. The vision I had, I'm going to start off with that. So I was standing on a street, and it was a huge city, and I looked up and there's tall buildings everywhere, and what was I gonna say? Oh, I know, sorry. I do not want to redo this over again. So in the original video, I said like California or like New York, but since then I have gotten many confirmation that it is California. Via song, I had heard a song called California Dreaming, and then California Love again, and then there's a Toby Keith song called Should Have Been a Cowboy way back in the day, but there's the lyric I heard from there was, he said something like, "Go west, young man, California's full of women, blah, blah, blah." That's the rest of it. But again, the word California. So since then, I have gotten enough confirmation that God is telling me it is a big city like California, not New York, California. Anyways, the hue of the whole city was like red. And I can only describe it as if you took any light source and took the light bulb out and put in a red light bulb. And so the whole city was just like red, and the outlines of the buildings were like in black or shades of gray, but the key color was red. I could see the outline of buildings and things like that. And there was like a presence with me. So I didn't see their face, but I knew there was a presence with me because I could just feel them with me. And then I went flying up to the top of a very tall building, almost in the manner of like when you go down a zip line, but I was going up the zip line to the top of a very tall building where I could see everything that was going on, like way far out. Like, I don't know how high I was up. I just know it was like a huge, you know, like I was either on top of the very, very huge tall building or even higher, and I could see so far out, and everything was like red, and I want to use the word lava, but it was just, that's what it looked like from the vantage point that I was at. And I heard the following words, and it was laid waste, reckless violence, and cesspool. Now, as I was looking around and everything, I was like, had this emotion of like sadness and despair. So it was just like heart-wrenching sadness. I mean, that's the only way I could describe it. But I saw then I saw like this golden object that was like flying around, and I watched it go way up high, and then it went really down low, and I looked down and it looked like it was hovering all the way at ground level, like right above what looked like lava, but it was like vertically down. So I wasn't looking at a head, I was looking, it was like I was hanging over an edge and looking down. And then I said, after that, I was like, what's going to happen to this earth? And then I heard the word desolate wasteland. And the verses I got to go with this was Revelations 10:11, where the beginning part says, I told you, or then I was told you must prophesy again. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but that was the beginning of it. Then I got Acts chapter 2, 17 through 20. And I'm going to look at my Bible. And that reads, in the last days, God says, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams. Even on my servants, both men and women, I will pour out my spirit in those days, and they will prophesy. I will show them wonders in the heavens above and signs on the earth below, blood and fire and billows of smoke. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great and glorious day of the Lord. That goes along with the hue, like everything was red. And I remember when I first gave that message, I got this verse right before I came out to the car, and I think I read like the first couple things and then I highlighted the rest. And when I came down, I mean, if you watch that video, you can see where I'm connecting the dots, how that verse matched the dream, because it talks about billows of smoke and the darkness and how the blood moon, and so that would explain why everything just looked red. The next verse I got was Luke 8 verse 10, and it says, he said, the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of God has been given to you, but to others I speak in parables, so that though seeing they may not see, though hearing they may not understand. And then I got Revelations chapter 8. This time it was just verse 11, and it was, the name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the waters turned bitter, and many people died from the waters that had become bitter. Something I just thought of right now that I didn't even write in my notes, but it was in a previous dream, was I remember looking into these bins of water, and there were just like, it was not drinkable is what I'm going to say. You could see this nasty film. You could see little specks of things in there, and it was just not drinkable water. So that just came to mind. I didn't know that it kind of went with this one, but that's what God put in my head right now as I read that. So the water thing was something I got a couple days ago, so it was not part of the original dream that I gave 4 months ago. And then along with this original one from 4 months ago, I got Lamentations chapter 1 verse 1, and it says, how deserted lies the city once so full of people. How like a widow is she who once was great among the nations. She who was a queen among the provinces has now become a slave. So that just talks about, again, an empty city that was destroyed and deserted, because there was no people in that vision. Like, it was just like burning up, smoke, remnants of buildings that were there, and the ones that were standing were, you know, not pleasant to look at, is what I'll say. Then I got Joshua 11 verse 20, and it says, for it was the Lord himself who hardened their hearts to wage war against Israel, to so that he might destroy them totally, exterminating them without mercy, as the Lord had commanded Moses. So again, going back to destroying and exterminating that city, like that's what was going to happen. I'm going to go back to the word wormwood. Everybody, if you've read that, it talks about the name of the star is Wormwood. It's like a asteroid, and the part that I want to point out, and I've said it twice in different videos, is that if you look up the Wormwood prophecy, NASA, there's some articles out there, whether you want to call it conspiracy or not, even though God says don't call conspiracy what this people calls conspiracy, is that there is an asteroid that is being compared to the Bible prophecy of Wormwood. So I would look into that if you're interested in that side of the things. Now I'm going to talk just really quickly about that object that was flying around that was golden rings. So like after I did that video, like I had no idea what golden rings meant. And one day I was like, I'm gonna look this up. And when it, I don't even know if I said this. So when that thing was flying around, I said, what is that? And I heard the words golden rings repeated 5 times. So if I didn't say that, I'm saying it now. I looked that up. I looked up 5 golden rings, and guess what, y'all? It's a book. And that golden object right there is what I saw flying around. The message that goes with this golden rings thing, it was like a vision inside a vision. So this doesn't have to do with this, but it has to do with something else. And I will link the video to the 5 golden rings in there because I want to stay on topic with this Wormwood thing. The 5 golden rings, it branches off into a deeper message. So I will link that in the comments. And so I hope that you guys who watch this will take the time to watch this short video about golden rings. Then that video with the golden rings I did about 2 months ago. Again, I'm going to link it. Then on February 22nd, I heard the word devour and disaster. And that was it. And then 2 weeks ago when I made the video that I'm now redoing, it's called The Name of the Stars Wormwood, so the original one of that, I had heard the words collision course, emergency broadcast system, the word collide, and will devour many. And then that's when I got Revelations 8, 12 and 13, but when I went to go look at it, I was like, oh, okay, it goes with that first one. So now I'm going to read them all together, even though I read the first part just a minute ago. It says, again, Revelations chapter 8, verses 11, and I'm going to add 12 and 13. The name of the star is Wormwood. 1/3 of the waters turned bitter, and many people died from the waters that had become bitter. The 4th angel sounded his trumpet, and 1/3 of the sun was struck, 1/3 of the moon, and 1/3 of the stars, so that the 1/3 of them turned dark. 1/3 of the day was without light, and also 1/3 of the night. As I watched, I heard an eagle that was flying in midair call out in a loud voice, "Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, because the trumpet blasts about to be sounded, because of the trumpet blasts about to be sounded by the other 3 angels." And so, let's see, I also had got Luke 12:22 and Philippians 12, Luke 12:22 and Philippians 4:19, sorry. And I'm just going to paraphrase. So the first one is, it talks about don't worry about your life or the things you're going to wear, stuff like that. And Philippians, it talks about how he's going to provide what we need. I also, for that video, I got Job 12:22, and it says, he reveals the deep things of darkness and brings utter darkness into light. And so now I'm going to go and talk about what I had in my dream last night. Which I should have known something was going to come, because I always get like this phrase like 2 days before it happened, like the original Desolate Wasteland. 2 days before I got that vision, I heard, "Let me show you Angela." And, you know, I was like, all right, let me see. And nothing came for like 2 days. And then I was like, whoa, what's going on? And then I had heard something like, God will show you, and then nothing happened. And then boom, last night I had this dream. I woke up and I was like in a sweat, and I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. This is happening. So I'm going to start off with just the verses for the new part. So now I am talking about the new addition to this vision. And it is, I got Daniel chapter 2 verse 36, and it says, "This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation." And then I have Daniel 2:47, and it says, "The king said to Daniel, 'Surely your God is the God of gods and the Lord of kings and the revealer of mysteries, for you were able to reveal this mystery.'" So, oh, one more before I start the dream. I got Job chapter 33 verses 14 through 18, and it reads, "For God does speak, now one way, now another, though no one perceives it, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on people as they slumber in their beds. He may speak in their ears and terrify them with warnings, to turn them from wrongdoing and keep them from pride, to preserve them from the pit, their lives from perishing by the sword." So this is the dream, the warning dream, I guess, is what I'm getting from that verse. Okay, so last night I was standing on what looked like a beach, and I want to first talk about how I felt. I felt like not frightened and not panicked and not scared, almost like, one, I know I'm not a beach fan, you know, I'm not like, go hang out in the salt water. I did that when I was younger, and I got stung by a stingray, not a stingray. I got stung by a jellyfish immediately, right on the inside of my thigh when I was like, I don't know, I think it was in like 6th grade or something. So I just, you're not going to find me near a beach unless God is telling me to go near a beach. So in this dream, I was not frightened. I knew exactly, that God was showing me something, because there, you know, sometimes you have a dream and you're like, whoa, was I really there, or was that happen? You know, you wake up that way wondering, was that a dream I just had? But I knew it was a dream, and I was witnessing things, but I wasn't myself panicked. Now, as for the other people in my dream, they were very panicked. Okay, so what I saw was, again, I was standing on a beach, and I look up, and it's almost like something had happened and everyone was in a panic trying to be like, what just happened? I look up, and there's like this huge slope, like a hill, but you can tell that the land had broken apart that was not broken before, if that makes sense. Something had happened and there was a break, because at the top was like a rectangular building, like a construction trailer is all I can think about. And I couldn't see much detail of the people because they were very up the hill. Like, I was very down at the bottom, they were very at the top, and it just looked like little black figures of hands and people moving around, but you could tell that they were placing their hands on this trailer trying to do something. I mean, it was presented to me as they were trying to stop that trailer from falling into the crack. Maybe there was someone inside it, maybe there was someone under it, but it didn't matter what they did. That trailer fell, and as it came down, it was swiping people who were hanging or swiping people who were still on the side, just swiping them off. And I saw the trailer coming, and I stepped back like into some trees, and I'm like, I realized that these trees don't belong there. I'm in the branches and leaves of trees, not like at the bottom under a tree. Does that make sense? Like, they were fallen over from whatever had happened, and I took cover in the branches of the tree as that thing fell down. And then I look toward the water because I hear and feel the vibrations and see something like the next wave of whatever had just happened slammed into the water. And the way the water reacted was, it wasn't like this huge massive wave that happened. It didn't happen yet. I looked at that water, and you could tell that impact was going to cause a big massive water wave, tsunami kind of thing, that was going to happen. And everyone started running up, and like as quickly as they can. I mean, there were other ways to get up besides where that crevice was, but like I said, everyone was in shock about what had just happened. And so the next part of the dream, I am running, but like not running. It's kind of like I don't feel out of breath, but everyone around me is panicked and running. And it was like kind of like a neighborhood, like beach houses and maybe some buildings, but it wasn't like in a tight residential area, if that makes sense. So maybe some businesses and homes and stuff that are closer to the water. And I see, I'm gonna get a drink of water. I see 2 celebrities, okay? Now, this doesn't mean that those celebrities are gonna be there when that happens or anything like that, but when you think of celebrities, what city do you think of, or what state do you think of? You think of California, right? So this was another way of God saying California. I looked over and I saw Jonah Hill running, right? And then I also saw Giovanni Ribisi. He's like an older actor, but more my time. Like, I watched a lot of movies back then that he was in, so that's who I saw. Why God chose them, I don't know, but it was just another confirmation of when you see actors and actresses, you think of California. So that was just another confirmation of California. Then this next part, there's no way for me to say this, so I'm just gonna start with the idiom of when you're really scared, you blank your pants, right? That's a phrase. So I number 2'd my pants. Not me, but that's the phrase. Like, I was so scared, I number 2'd my pants. That's the phrase. And that is how God used that imagery to show me how scared people were. Because as some people ran past me, there were about 2 or 3 people who literally had number 2'd their pants. And it was such a sight that I was like, that person just, you know, I said the word in my dream, that person just blanked their pants, and that person just blanked their pants. And so they were that scared that they number 2'd their pants, but just kept running. It didn't matter. So I want to emphasize the amount of fear that was going on as these people were running for their life, is what it was. They were running for their life. That's what was happening. So that is all of the dreams in one video, up to date. Today's the 15th, so all of it in one video. The only part that I didn't leave in was the part about the 5 golden rings in that book, because although the golden rings was in there, the basis of what this book is about and how it relates to me and how it relates to everyone, really, there's a message for everyone. I do talk about it in the video called 5 Golden Rings. I just didn't want to get that message mixed up in the prophecy of this Wormwood thing and the California thing and whatever it is that God's showing me to share with you, because, you know, he pressed it on my heart that no one really was going to go click on those other links, and to get this video out and put everything in there with the new thing that he had just showed me. So I hope that no matter what you're going through in your life, and that no matter what you're faced with, that you always trust God with all your heart. Trust that he will rescue you and be there for you when times are tough, regardless if it's about this vision or something that you're going on in your life right now. So trust God, believe in him, and always find the light. Thanks, guys. Till next time. Bye.